Mr. Speaker, the development sector is doing well, with several major developments in the work being planned. From January this year to October, our Department of Planning approved more than 1,000 projects at an estimated value of $688 million, a sharp increase from the same period in 2016, when there were 760 projects at a value of $342 million. Mr. Speaker, these numbers are proof of the increased confidence investors have in our country, our government, and our economy. There is no question, and I don't even think the opposition questioned the fact that the economy is doing well and is growing. Real GDP, which shows economic growth, is projected at 2.1% this year and 2.4% next year. And because we are doing well economically, we continue to see unemployment fall for Caymanians. In this budget, we have pledged to make sure it falls further through economic growth, as well as strengthening the small business sector, encouraging new industries, keeping construction jobs alive, as well as government employing police officers, firemen, and prison staff. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that seems to me to be dimly understood by some members of the opposition is the fact that we cannot provide jobs to Caymanians and economic opportunities without development and economic growth. I hear members of the opposition bemoaning major construction projects, challenging things like governments exploring the possibility of a transshipment port, complaining about the construction that is going on, improving our road infrastructure. And I say to myself, Mr. Speaker, how is it that we are supposed to provide the revenue to fund education, to fund health care, to deal with mortgage foreclosures? Money does not fall like manna from heaven. This country has been built and is still reliant on inward investment. I repeat that, Mr. Speaker. This country is reliant on inward investment. Failing that, we are in huge trouble. We worry because, correctly, there is 6.1% Caymanian unemployment. You make the inward investment stop. So see what those unemployment numbers are. Why is it we believe that my father's generation, all the men went to sea? Because there was no work here. Because there was no inward investment. And anybody who believes that cussing Mr. Dart or whichever developer there is, because that makes you feel good, they're buying up all the land. Mr. Speaker, you make the day come that inward investment stops. You make the day come that tourists no longer arrive. And we will see, for that generation who came up in a time when there were all these opportunities, they will see then what it is like. The old people talk about to suck salt. Mr. Speaker, I belong to what I always call the bridge generation. I was born at a time when Cayman was still Cayman. When we beat mosquitoes, Idari went to sea, and anybody who was left there, any male who was left there, hustled to find some little thing to do. I know what Cayman was like in the tough times. Not the tough times of my father, not suggesting that. It was a lot easier by the time I was born. But I know what it's like to know want. Mr. Speaker, the reason I call it the bridge generation is mine and yours was the first generation of Caymanians who had the opportunity to get a proper education in Cayman and the chance to go on to tertiary education. So we have had, I think I have the benefit of having both perspectives. People born 10 years after me don't have the same perspective because Cayman changed so fast and the opportunities grew so exponentially over such a short period of time that many of us living in this country do not understand what we have. And because so many people don't travel except up to Miami or somewhere like that, they do not have the perspective. Take some time and travel around the region. Go to somewhere else beside the United States and you will understand how well we are doing as a country and a people in this little place called the Cayman Islands.